Come on. Thank you. Video.
Her hands are bound behind her candidate, who found the perfect hill on which to lay it down for good. Who she might not agree with on apartheid or celebrating war crimes, but talks just like she could. He's got the IDF's back and the CIA's back like a Democrat should. Mr. Anti-Establishment didn't start the fire, but he's slipping on his hood. Her voice is grafted to a candidate who might not always speak for her, but what is she to say? Why bother harping on an issue that Americans won't listen to? It seems like such a waste. But what activism is saying they don't give a shit, but if I don't, why would they? So way to rob yourself of agency, then chain yourself to genocide and look the other way. I love to see a fellow running as a Democrat, taking stacks of money from a GOP super PAC, calling out corruption in the giant fucking country club he's clearly been accepted at, but wants to be the leader of. He knows which way the money runs, knows it paves a leader's path, and human rights for Palestine historically don't lead to that. So he will not address it, as he doesn't see a need for that. And welcome to the attitude our country's politicians have displayed toward Palestinians since back before they cracked the will of Arafat. And so the story goes forever after. We do not speak the P word here or recognize the Nakba. All you'll find are sea lions who volunteered as actors, barking like a manuscript from NAFTA. All you'll find are insulated sycophants intent on justifying why the slaughter done in Palestine is not a voting matter. Tell that to Shireen Abu Akleh. Tell that to the children growing up inside a city where the walls are made of shackles. Tell that to a mother who is burying her baby, how her son is not our problem because we'll never see his grave. He's just a topic we can mute, or we can scroll right past his face and all the videos of mourners being beaten at his wake. So stuff your poll on what the average voter sees as urgent. They don't get to know the half of what we use as our detergent when we launder all our ISIS cells, our cartels and insurgents. We do not elect the man behind the curtain. We elect the pull string diversion. We elect the lesser evil donors pre-selected best to do unto the Arabs as we did unto the Persians, and do unto the Muslims as instructed by the merchant who provided you with HIMARS that can vaporize a person. Back into the dust in which we all will find immersion. One arms dealer's Jenin is another dealer's Kherson. Both are just a mark that Lockheed Martin smells a purse on. And voters are the hollow thralls that Congress put a curse on to vote against their interests every 4 years till they die. And if you show them Palestine, cry better them than I. Though the curse of occupation's taken place within their mind, they will always love their prison, long as they are shown the sky. They will sing about their freedoms under Apple's watchful eye, as puppets dance and sing should you so pull their strings and wires. And they'll rally round the man who bears a torch and bears it high, and believe him when he tells them that he's here to stop the fire. We're cursed to love our prison and keep lifting up our liars. We are not behind the wheel, we're being crushed beneath the tires. And our blood is in the oil, and the plastic on the wipers, and our blood is on the hands of those who cranked inflation higher. And blood is on a vest where press can barely be deciphered, put there by a few Israelis.
All right, we're back. We're going to try this again. Indy here, Reef there. Holy crap. I have the worst internet ever, and I'm already yelling at my cable company again. I calling them a ripoff, and I said, you guys just cost me another stream, and I fucking loathe you. Like, literally. So we'll see how that goes. All right, we're going to go back and we're going to pick this up from this point on. We're talking about the censorship files. We covered ORF. Man, please share these links out because goddamn, these motherfuckers just cost me again. You know, we spent all this time promoting the stream. We had 70 fucking people here across all the goddamn channels. These motherfuckers at Optimum, piece of shit Zionist motherfuckers. All right, let's go. And we're dropping streams again. We're dropping frames. Of course, motherfuckers. All right. Let's go. Censorship files. Again, we have very little evidence about what works. We watched this little video from Orf about Hamilton 68. It's basically a thing about how Clint Watts is full of shit and everything that Hamilton 68 was absolutely a lie. I don't think I can play it within this window, and I'm not going to open up to another one. So I'm going to get to the article again. On April 11th, 2021, the University of Washington's Kate Starbird, and we talked about her in the last article, sent a letter to former FBI agent Clint Watts, whom racket readers will recognize as the face of the ill-fated Hamilton 68 dashboard. Come on.
Oh, I was waiting for you to go past it, but
you interrupt me every fucking time with it, so. Funded by the Alliance for Security Democracy, whose board contains former heads and deputy heads of agencies like the CIA, NSA, and DHS. Yeah, nothing to fucking worry about there. Hamilton 68 spawned hundreds of incorrect stories about Russian bot activity because they're a bunch of lying government-sponsored fucking douchebags. In the Twitter files, we found executives reverse engineered the dashboard, discovered it was full of people unconnected to Russia, of course, and argued that it should be called out for the bullshit it is. Watts, in early April 2021, had invited Starbird to join a societal resilience roundtable. These fuckers love their roundtables and their tabletop exercises and their symposiums. I want to punch them in the face about this shit. After being asked,
like
allegedly in a video game, all right, after being asked by the new administration to gather a special group of experts, you mean lying motherfuckers, for an off-the-record roundtable, because they didn't have one, they needed a second roundtable for these assholes. Kate, I've been asked to, and love this, Clinton Watts at iCloud.com. Don't send him an email, do not send him anything, I swear, or don't try to hack that account. Kate, I've been asked to assemble a special group of experts to provide insights to the new administration for improving societal resilience to disinformation and misinformation. Next week, on Monday, April 12th, from 2 to 3:15 Eastern, I'll be moderating a panel of this select group to provide input in an off-the-record conversation, because nobody wants it on the record, on what programs have been proven to effectively counter disinformation and improve information resiliency. Garbage. I know it's only a few days away, but the process is moving aggressively at the moment, and we're trying to make sure we gather as many recommendations and insights as possible to inform upcoming policy. Yeah, very official and very, up and up sounding. I believe your work and knowledge in this space is particularly relevant and insightful to this discussion because you've done so much work in creating disinformation and misinformation. Sure. Later, Watts added that the roundtable would also include several members of the National Security Council who are working on strategies for countering disinformation and strengthening resiliency on the session next Monday. And I'm still waiting on a few to answer the invitation, and we'll add them. I'll send a final listing by the end of this weekend and before Monday. They're just having a good old circle jerk around censorship. Then he asked the participants to compile any references for talking points so their NSC guests could read them ahead of the meeting. Oh. Is this guy like feeding this shit to the intel community? Do these people not see this?
Yep.
Starbird responded with a list of replies, amusingly suggesting the idea of a disinformation czar that would be seen as partisan and ineffective. Note the date of the email. The Disinformation Governance Board, featuring singing censor Nina Jankowicz, who's blocked us all on Twitter, would be launched a year later on April 27th, 2022, and despite efforts to frame the idea as a sensible one, this information board to tackle Russia, migrant smugglers, announced the AP. It down shortly after amid catcalls and accusations that the Biden administration was trying to establish a ministry of truth. Because they were. We're down right now. Oh, we're back. A ministry of truth. A ministry of truth, because they were. Man, this is so frustrating. I'm watching it blip and up and down. I have no idea if people can see this or not. Starboard responded, I think we should just do it and just keep recording. And if we drop again, we'll just keep recording and we're going to keep going as if we're doing a show. Okay. Starboard responded with a list of replies, amusingly suggesting the idea of a disinformation czar would be seen as partisan and ineffective. Again, note the date of the email, the disinformation governance board, which, all right, it was shut down after they, again, said they were trying to establish the Ministry of Truth. Starboard, who had no comment about the disinformation governance board lie, what a surprise, went on, responding to the proposed question, what do we still not know? A lot, apparently, because they don't know shit about shit. All right. She answered, quote, we still have very little evidence about what works. Yeah, we know. To help people be more resilient to disinformation. Platform labels, she said, seem to work in very narrow cases. Yeah, ask the RT contributors how that worked out. Only and could be harmful elsewhere. Yeah, they were. Note these thoughts about lack of evidence were being conveyed after the Election Integrity Partnership, to which Starboard Center at UW had been a partner, of course. Twitter files showed the company often applied labels in response to EIP flags. So the Election Integrity Partnership at Stanford sees somebody that they think is Russian, sends something over to Twitter, and all of a sudden they have a flag put on their account and a label put on their bio that they're a journalist for XYZ or whatever it is. Starboard added that the benefits of pre-bunking were unclear, and the same went for media literacy training. And here's the email that says so. I wish Ursula von der Leyen would even take note of this, because this is somebody in the shitlib community that she would actually believe and give weight to their opinion. But saying that collaborative and even redundant work to rapidly identify, track, and reveal the trajectories of disinformation would be something we should try to do. But what we should not try to do is anything that makes the work of disinformation appear to be partisan, i.e. a disinformation czar in the Biden administration. She's clear about that. Yep. But what do we still not know? Well, we have very little evidence about what works, like she says. Platform labels don't work. Pre-bunking and inoculation, even when we know something is coming, it's not clear that we know how to help people be resistant to it or research hard to do. And I actually read a thing today about how basically by pre-bunking, you're effectively creating a path to exactly that happening. By laying out that, oh, this might happen, it's a false flag. Media
pre-bunking sounds way too much like a euphemism for us to use it without, questioning it.
Right?
You know?
So, persistent problem. And she goes on to say a bunch of other crap here that I don't really want to listen to, but the digital pathways that lead down the rabbit hole aren't so easily leveraged to bring people back again. The de-radicalization, we don't know what works. Straight up says, we don't know what works. Like over and over again. We ultimately concluded, like we said, okay, it may appear that she's saying that it doesn't seem like any of these things people like me do actually work, but that's not the case, she says now. Passage she's saying, I'm articulating the current state of the field, concerns about some of the strategies being employed to address the problem, some open questions that remain. And she added, contrary to what's suggested in your assertion, open questions with a challenging problem space don't condemn the Anti-Disinformation Project. They are part of a scientific inquiry and suggest more reason to engage in research, not less. I'm not giving you more access to more information, considering how badly you botched the first batch. Why would I do that? She added that since the date of the email, scientists have made progress on identifying what researchers call interventions that can reduce the spread of harmful false claims, including accuracy nudges, whatever that means, media literacy training, lateral reading instruction, and more. They just make terms up. Like, they're literally just making shit up.
Yes. Yep.
So they've made progress since then, but Watts declined to comment. What a surprise. Mr. Hamilton 69 himself, 68. Starbird, complaining of cherry-picked emails, apologized on the email chain to Watts for causing him trouble. She didn't. Our FOIA requests contained his name, which is why we got this correspondence. She didn't cause him anything. He said, I noted that Watts...
Imagination.
Dude, the projection is off the charts. I noted that Watts, via Hamilton 68, was himself responsible for many incorrect news stories. The Washington Post alone issued 8 corrections. And asked Starbird why this brand of disinformation, which reaches papers like the Post and New York Times, isn't more concerning than the sites she focuses on, like the Gateway Pundit and Occupy Democrats. We know from other correspondence that Starbird pays attention to episodes like Hamilton 68, whose dashboard was designed by New Knowledge CEO Jonathan Morgan in conjunction with GEC contractor J.M. Berger. Why does that matter? Because back in 2018, just after New Knowledge was caught in a crazy scheme to create fake Russian Twitter accounts and have them follow Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore, Starbird wrote future Graphica chief Ben Nimmo, which also, by the way, is another one of these government-funded intelligence agencies that masks as a private entity. Okay. Starbird ultimately concluded, quote, the digital pathways that lead down the rabbit hole aren't so easily leveraged to bring people back again. I called that earlier. Again, it may appear that she's saying that it doesn't. Wait, I got this. I got that. I read that one already. Lateral training instruction, more backwards, forward. Ben Nimmo. Here's the email, which is interesting because his Graphica email address is blacked out, but the iCloud address for Clint Watts was not. But Ben Nimmo says one topic was about New Knowledge and the Alabama project is to discuss ethics and boundaries between research, or perhaps the different kinds of research and kinds of action in this space, defensive versus offensive. Like what? The researcher at New Knowledge during the period of both the Alabama and Hamilton 68 episodes was dun 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 Reade DiResta. Alleged CIA agent Reade DiResta. Not a fan. Not a fan whatsoever. What? Why am I? Chat thing's broken too. Damn it.
All right, I'm watching chat. You're good.
It's all good. I don't want to see it. Like, I love everyone, but I get distracted. I don't like Reade DiResta, if anybody didn't know. Nimmo's Graphica and Starbird Center for an Informed Public would go on to team up with DiResta in the 2020 Election Integrity Partnership. Apparently, that discussion of boundaries of ethics involving offensive information operations didn't judge the latter too harshly. Unbelievable.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Starbird's response to the email about DiResta noted, and this exchange took place before I knew Renee, adding, Renee is a brilliant researcher, and in our 4 years of collaborating, 2020-, I've never seen her do anything that can be classified as unethical. Well,